All right, guys, what's going on? Wednesday, March the 9th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in. We are live here on the Daily Crow, taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. And what should be a very, very interesting day. Appreciate you all tuning in. Let's see. I see both Justin's, Rebecca, Wesley. Yes, Facebook is working and it should be fine, guys. In case you missed it, I actually shortened up the intro video to hopefully, rectify the issues of the copyright BS, the copyright strikes for whatever reason that was happening. So again, we are live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. And again, we got a lot to get into after last night. We've got a lot to get into after last night and just what happened. And again, guys, of course, if any technical issues happen, especially on the Facebook side, please let me know. But yeah, again, I actually shortened that to just a minute. So we're still going to have a countdown, but just a minute. Again, I'm going to see if that actually helps in regards to those copyright issues or just whatever the heck's going on Facebook from time to time. But either way, I see Justin Langford, Cody Gaskins, Daddy O, Travis Allen, Chase Floyd, John Kruger. What is up? Appreciate you all. Austin Greer, what's going on? Again, a lot to get into. A lot to get into here on this Wednesday, and I want to hear from you, 843-790-3377. And of course, guys, as always, the Daily Crow brought to you by the Big Cock Club. Join today, patreon.com/Big Cock Club, or go to the link in our social media channels. The link in our social media channels to join today. Also, if you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there. Let's see. I see my guy John Rice. Also, Ritter says he's going to call into the show tonight at 6 p.m. No takebacks. No takebacks, Ritter. No takebacks. I want to hear from you, Ritter. No takebacks. Panic Ritter. Don't tell me you're going to call in and not do it. Don't tell me you're going to call in and not do it. And, again, listen, I know why. We all know why we're here. We all know what the topic of conversation is today. I'm not sure I've seen a midweek game in quite a while reacted to the way that last night's game was reacted to by Gamecock Nation. But when you lose, when you get swept by your arch rival, and then you lose the way you lost last night to a bad baseball team. I mean, I don't think Xavier, all due respect, they kicked our butts, but I don't think they're a great baseball team. And now you're sitting here today just wondering, where do you go from here? Let's jump to the phone lines.
Grant,
what's going on? How are you?
Chris, when do we fire Kingston? This is unacceptable for a program of, our level. At the end of the season, or just do it now and set the precedent?
I don't think you're going to fire a coach 12 games in, man. I don't see any I don't know how it helps the course of this season at all. And I just don't think it's, I don't think it's standard practice across college baseball. The only reason I've ever seen a coach get fired mid-season or early season is because of off-field issues or legal issues or what have you. So, if anything's going to happen, it's not going to happen, I don't think, till after the year's over. So.
Yeah, I know. But, still, as a program, where we're at, you can't fire in mid-season. You can't, because it talks with recruiting and everything, but still, come on.
Yeah, listen.
Fans pay to go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Losing 15-7 to Xavier midweek game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's unacceptable, man. It was pitiful. Last night was pitiful. And now you got Texas coming into town, which, that's going to be – I don't even want to talk about it yet. It's going to be – we all know what's we all know what's coming. So we all know what's coming.
Chris, I'm in Key West right now on spring break, and I checked my phone at the bar, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Same thing here. I can't imagine being in Cola. Did you go to the game?
Yeah, I was at the game yesterday. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was just bad from the start, man. Just bad from the start, and bad all the way around. Xavier took it to you. You couldn't pitch for shit, and I know the bats haven't been perfect, but you got rocked on the mound. You got absolutely rocked on the mound. So. Everything that could have went wrong yesterday went wrong. And again, as I said, I don't know if you saw what I said after the game, and and I don't want to, I'm hesitant to be the guy questioning kids' commitment or want to or investment in a Carolina baseball because I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, it just irks me a little bit to because I'll be honest with you, I left the game like middle of the 8th inning. I was freezing cold. I had to go home and do the show after anyways. We were down 8 runs. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch the last inning on my phone. And so after when you're coming off the field in the top of the 9th and you're laughing and cutting up and carrying on, and you can say whatever, Julian Vasquez got to pitch and he got out of a jam, and that's all fine and dandy. That's great. And you want to celebrate your teammate. I totally get it, but it's there's nothing funny about losing to Xavier by 8 runs. So
no, or were they 2-9 before the game?
They were 2-9. Yes.
Oh, I mean, come on.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, I know people don't want to hear from Kingston, but I did actually agree with what he said after the game in the sense of just character is going to be revealed. I mean, we're going to find out if this, and I guess that's what concerns me moving forward is just who are the leaders that are going to step up and put their foot down and say enough is enough. Because again, it sort of almost feels like what happened with the football program after Steve Spurrier left, that the standard's getting a little lost of what the standard should be at South Carolina. And I can tell you this, I'm not saying that Mark Kingston or any coach for that matter has to go to the College World Series every single year, but losing to Xavier by 8 runs in a midweek, it's unacceptable, man. I don't feel like I should have to say that, so
the worst thing is that after UNC Greensboro, it's like 2-1, lose one game, it's like, all right, fans are pissed. I mean, like, okay, we barely lost, but like you said, you're posting stuff. You're like, oh, it's fucking baseball. Don't worry. And then we got our heads together. And then Clemson sweep, Xavier destroyed at home midweek. I mean, Texas this weekend, we're probably gonna get swept. And then we got Vandy coming to town in a week or two, swept. I mean, it's not even gonna be competitive at this point, and the players probably feel out of it, and it's just like the fan base deserves better. I mean, it's the program, like, what is second most SEC wins in 2000? I mean,
yeah,
this program, you expect at least a fight. You can put up a damn fight, and getting destroyed, swept, embarrassed, like no one's gonna make these games anymore, and Ray Tanner is just gonna. I mean, it comes from the top. I feel like.
Yeah, no, for
time.
sure. No, I think you make a lot of great points. I was just going to say, I think you make a lot of great points. And, I will tell you this. I was very, frustrated last night. And if you listen to the podcast today, you'll hear that even more. And I'm still not happy with what happened last night. Again, we got like 45 more games to go, man. So I would like to think this team is better than what it showed last night. And again, we'll just find out. I mean, we're because see that's the thing. That's the reason I don't come on here or go on social media at this point and say fire Kingston, fire Kingston. What I said in the preseason was it will play itself out. Time will tell. Because I love Carolina baseball more than I like Mark Kingston. And there's no gray area. I don't really have to call for Mark Kingston's job. The standard is the standard. If you don't win, you're out. You know what I mean? I mean, when people were asking me in the preseason, man, if Mark Kingston, if they don't make the postseason this year, is he on the hot seat? It's like, well, no, duh. I mean, because the standard is so far above that, and it should be. It should never be acceptable to miss the postseason. So, listen, if the season continues to go the way it's going to go, I don't have to say anything. The standard is the standard. The expectation is the expectation. You know what I mean? So, and if there's anything that thinks last night was acceptable, then they shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be here, bottom line. So it will play itself out.
You can't put up with mediocrity.
Not with the baseball program. Not with the baseball program. Most certainly not.
Not at all.
Yeah. So.
But all right, man. I'm about to go, but good talk. Good luck.
Yeah, man. Hey, enjoy spring break, man. Be safe down there.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Take care. Good stuff. Starting off hot on the callers, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Brian Dean, our most dominant player, is a true fresh on Michael Braswell. He also says we got to realize we don't have the talent we had during our championship runs. This team has no senior leadership. Well, what's and I know Andrew Eister's not a vocal type of leader. I know he's not. I think he's said that before. Even he's more of a lead by example guy, which is totally fine. But you do have veteran guys in the Brant Belks, the Kevin Maddens, even the Josiah Seitlers. I mean, I think at this point, Braylon Wimmers, even Colin Burgess. But out of that core of guys, like who's the dude who's stepping up and calling a players only meeting and saying enough is enough? You know what I mean? And again, it's still very early in the season, but with what's coming up, if you don't figure something out, this thing can get out of control early. You know what I mean? If you go 1-8 over the next 3 weekends, I mean, it's going to be really tough. So it's going to be really tough. John Rice, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you tuning in. Thank goodness that Facebook's working today. Austin Greer says, from dynasty to getting blown out by Xavier after getting swept against your rival, South Carolina is not a baseball program to invest in at the moment. Gamecock baseball is a thing of the past. I feel like you literally just copied that from your Twitter last night. Listen, I still view this program as elite. I still view Gamecocks baseball as one of the elite programs in the entire country, which is why last night isn't acceptable. Because guess what? I mean, you talk about the Clemson series. South Carolina got swept by Clemson for the first time since 1997. I mean, that's what Mark Kingston now has on his record. You know what I mean? That's what he has on his record. So, let's see. Savannah Webster, I highly doubt Julian Bosnick is ready to go this weekend. I highly doubt it. Cody Gaskins, the chances of us getting swept the next 3 weekends is very, very high. I would tell you this, Cody, if you don't get it together, yeah, I think 2-7 might be like your best case scenario if you don't get it together. And that might just be a realistic scenario at this point with the way your ball club's shaping them. I mean, guys, you're probably going into yet another weekend. And I started to break down Texas a little bit before we jumped on the show, getting the notes ready for tomorrow's podcast. Because, of course, we're going to talk the Texas series. We're going to talk the basketball game against Mississippi State tomorrow with the SEC tournament beginning for South Carolina. But you're probably going in this Texas series yet again on the bump. Sanders, TBA, right? So 2 of your 3 guys, TBA. Meanwhile, Texas's starters, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is how they stack up stats-wise. 2-0 with a .53 ERA on Friday. 3-0 with a 0 ERA on Saturday. And 2-0 with a 1.64 ERA on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, I think it would be a minor miracle to see, and I hate to say that. But, I think most fans view the Texas series, if you win 1 game, it was a good weekend. I think most aren't expecting you to win any. And I can't blame them. And you see behind me, and I'm wearing this shirt, by the way, the Kiss the Ring shirt, just to remind people who we are as a baseball program. And that's where I found myself last night. Late in that ball game, looking out at the right field wall and seeing all the years in a row of regionals and all the years in a row of supers. And, of course, you see the emblems, the logos of the national championships. And we have real tradition, a very rich tradition and rich history, very real. And so I am one to inject perspective in many situations when it comes to football and basketball, but baseball, we should not be lowering the standard and the expectation for anybody. I don't want to hear that, the SEC is just tougher than it's ever been. I don't want to hear about challenges in recruiting. Guys, I mean, it's not even about, somebody says it's a decade since we've been to Omaha. It's not even about that. It's about just where we are as a program in regards to even challenging to get to that point. I know Ray Tanner had a great run at South Carolina. You could say a quote-unquote unprecedented run. But I will never knock a Gamecocks baseball fan for having high expectations for our baseball program because they should be high. They should be high. Carolina baseball should never miss the postseason. Never. It can't be tolerated. It can't be accepted. South Carolina baseball, I'll put it to you this way. And I call these my realistic expectations of Gamecocks baseball. I view this program as elite. I view this program as elite. That's how I view this program. It is an elite college baseball program. Over the course of a decade, you should never miss the postseason. I'm sorry. Even missing it once, unacceptable. You should never miss it. I'm not saying if you miss it once, you go ahead and pull the trigger and fire a guy. But, yeah, I think if you miss a postseason more than once in a decade, you probably should move on from that coach. I think that's honestly fair. I really do. So I think you should make the postseason every year in a decade. I think you should be making the Supers 5 to 6 times out of every 10 years. And I think you should be making it in Omaha 2 to 3 times out of every decade. I mean, again, those might sound like really high expectations for some programs, but for us, that's just normal. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. So, you know, so again, it's a long season. It's a long season, guys. It's a long season. We will see how this team, and that's what disappointed me the most last night was, you know, I was really hoping we would come out pissed off, fired up, inspired, and really, and I'm not saying we didn't come out wanting to win. Everybody wants to win. I mean, nobody, no athlete takes the field, I believe at least, and doesn't want to win, right? But the just overall effort, the overall effort last night just wasn't there. I just wasn't there. Just wasn't there. So, you know, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of words to make you feel better today. You got your butts beat. That's it. You got your butts beat. You got your butts beat. No coach is getting fired, though, 12 games into the season. I can tell you that, guys. So if that's the hill that you're dying on today, I hate to disappoint you, but Ray Tanner's not firing Mark Kingston today. He's not doing it. He's not doing it. Let's jump back to the phone lines.
Brian Lattimore.
Brian, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, you know, I think as Gamecock fans, we've had better days, but, you know, I'm here.
Yeah. I've had more fun nights at the yard than I had last night. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think you could say that again. Yeah, you know, just wanted to come out and voice some frustrations and some talking points. Because last night was just awful. You know, it was all the way around it. I don't think there was really any positive points you could pull out of that game. And a question I have for you, and I don't mean to, like, put you on the spot or anybody for this matter, but I heard a lot, you know, about the expectations about our program before the season started. You know, and people kind of looking at our program thinking that, you know, we have something that other people aren't seeing. And I'm just curious, you know, from your perspective, what did you see about this program that, you know, that kind of popped out to you saying, you know, hey, this might be a good year. You know, we might have something. But I haven't seen it. I've not seen anything positive about this team to this point, really, you know, outside of, you know, maybe a couple things here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I still feel like the lineup's going to be better than it's shown. I really do. You got a guy in Brant Belk that came in, was a contributor at Missouri. And I know Missouri baseball is not great, but was still a 275 hitter at the SEC level. Kevin Madden coming in from Virginia Tech was a 313 hitter last year for them starting every game. I thought your lineup would be exponentially improved. I really did. And maybe that hasn't clicked early. You know, I also didn't account for James Hicks going down with Tommy John and Julian Bosnick not being able to pitch to this point in the season. I said coming in that, you know, your bullpen was the greatest concern. And I think that showed last night, most certainly. I think that showed last night. You just, for whatever reason.
I don't think there was a pitcher on our staff that we didn't use last night.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. You just don't have the power arms right now for whatever reason. I mean, yeah, and just guys just haven't thrown well. I mean, that's it. Bottom line, guys just haven't thrown well. It's and you're depending on some guys in the bullpen that really haven't been contributors for 3, 4, 5 years. And so I guess you could have said to yourself, why would we expect this year they're all of a sudden going to be big time contributors for us and do anything that they've done differently the past couple of seasons. So, I thought guys like Noah Hall and Michael Esposito, and I didn't think Hall actually threw terribly Saturday against Clemson. I thought he threw well enough to give us a chance. But, there's been some guys that have fallen short of expectations for me early in the year, and there's been some guys that have thrown a lot worse than I've expected early in the year. I thought you were going to be able to piece it together in the bullpen, and again, long season still ahead. But to this point, you haven't done it. You haven't done it. So, and again, the injuries to Bosnick and to Hicks have really thrown a wrench into things on the mound. But, my greatest concern was bullpen. And, I mean, you're seeing that full force right now. But I'll tell you this moving forward. I'm not overly concerned about the sticks. I'm really not. I'm not overly concerned that we'll be able to swing it. And I'm not saying we're going to hit 300 in the SEC or anything, but are we better than we were last year? Overall, average-wise, I think so. I think we are. But do we have the dominant pitching that we had last year? Especially now with the injuries and stuff, no, we don't. We don't. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Why are we not rolling out the big power arms that other SEC teams have? It just doesn't make sense. Outside of Will Sanders and Michael Braswell as your closer, I don't know who I trust with the baseball right now. I really don't. I don't know who I trust giving it to. I still feel like the lineup, you'll be able to swing it. I do. But yeah, my greatest concern is on the mound.
Yeah, hell, even if we had Bosnick and Hicks, I'm not even sure that's enough. Unless those guys are going to go out there and throw complete games, it seems like anybody else that we bring in, for the most part, outside of maybe one or two guys here and there, are just a complete liability. It's night and day difference. Whenever you take a Will Sanders out, you throw somebody else in there, and it's like, we just transformed into Xavier, instead of being South Carolina. So,
well, yeah, and I think where they're really hurting too, and again, I'm certainly not making excuses. I'm just pointing it out that, I don't think they were banking on, Jack Mahoney getting hurt. I don't think they were banking on Jackson Phipps getting hurt. I don't think they were banking on Mag Cotto hitting the portal. I don't think they were banking on some other things happening in the bullpen. But again, you just, here's what I saw in the preseason. Again, I thought the lineup would be exponentially improved, no doubt. And I still, that's not my greatest concern moving forward. But I just thought, some guys you added, the Noah Halls and the Espositos and the Beckers and the Aiden Hunters. I thought you would piece it together because you're South Carolina. You do that. That's what you do. You win anyway. You do piece it together. You figure it out. There's no excuses here. So I thought you would piece it together. I thought you were going to have to win with a little more offense. And unfortunately, you haven't found your groove offensively, and your bullpen woes have been put in the spotlight because you got guys, I think, throwing in certain situations that you would rather not have them throwing in. So it feels, I'll tell you this, and I'm not trying to say the season's doomed or anything, whatever, although I think everybody tuned in just probably believes that anyways. But I got to say, it does feel a lot like 2019. It feels a lot like 2019 where, you lost Carmen Majinski and you were throwing a lot of freshmen and putting a lot of freshmen in situations that they had no business being in. And that sort of feels like we're doing right now too. Again, there's no excuses, man. It's not good enough. The talent on the bump is not good enough, or at least it wasn't last night. You got shelled. So I'm not saying you got to throw 95, 96 to have success in the SEC or throw 95, 96 to have success pitching. But the big-time SEC programs, they do have guys coming out of the pen, all of them throwing 95. And the one guy you got that's throwing hard, really, Michael Esposito, dude doesn't know where the hell it's going. So,
Yep.
It's got to get better top to bottom, man. It's got to get better top to bottom. I mean, even the lineup. I mean, we know, man. We're just the kings of leaving runners in scoring position, leaving them on base. So it's got to get better top to bottom. There's no question, and there's no excuses either. So, you better turn it around fast, or it will get very ugly very quickly for sure.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm far from the throw in the towel kind of guy. The season is very young. We still have a lot of games to play. There's definitely room for improvement, and that's really where coaching steps in, right? Everybody's calling for, Kingston said already, but that's kind of where a coach steps in. He's got to be able to settle these guys down. You got to put them in a position to win, and we're going to learn a lot about who he is as a coach. At the end of the season, you've said this a lot. We're not going to have to question whether or not we need to fire him or not. And ultimately, we have an athletics director who specializes in that position. So he knows you can't question whether or not he knows whether or not Kingston is the guy for the job. There's some politics to go into it. Maybe he's, very gun shy about pulling the trigger to firing somebody. You can question all of that. But as far as, in the heart, Ray Tanner knows what it takes to win, South Carolina. So I'm not worried. I think things will play themselves out. And, we'll figure out what kind of coach Kingston is and how the season progresses. I don't think there's any way we can go besides up. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, last night was rock bottom. You can't play much worse. You can go out there and get swept by Texas. Everybody kind of expects it. But, that's the biggest thing for me is, like, expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time. Well, I shouldn't say that because 2019 was a pretty bad season, but you shouldn't go into any series as far as I'm concerned. I don't care who it is you're playing. The expectation should never be, hey, we're going to go get swept this weekend. It's one thing to lose a series. It's one thing to get swept. But when the expectation is you're going to get swept, your program's sitting at a bad spot.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, that should never be acceptable or the expectation at Carolina. I 110% agree. So, but that's kind of where you are right now. I mean, obviously, I think that's what most are gearing up for. That's what most are expecting. Yeah. So, I mean, it's unacceptable, man. Like you said, there's no gray area with this program. You're either going to win or get out, and that's bottom line. So. And if you also, I'll tell you this too, if you also don't think that there are guys that played on those 10, 11, 12 Omaha teams that are close with Ray Tanner that aren't chatting him up, you have got another thing coming. I promise you. I promise you. So.
Yeah, you got one of them standing on the field right by third base.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Again, the expectations, we've been there, we've won that. You can compare it to other sports, but it doesn't compare. Baseball's bread and butter at South Carolina. We've been there, we've done that, we've won it all. We've been the top of the world, for long periods. Mm-hmm. So, it's one thing to have some down years. It's one thing to be not as good as you maybe expected you to be, but the fact that I don't even think we're a top 50 program in the country, and I don't know where we actually stand, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard whenever during a midweek game. I literally got to the point last night where I turned the game off and went to the store. Just couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I hear you. I hear you. Trust me, it was ugly. I was there. It was ugly. It was very, very ugly. So, yeah, there's no excuse for it. There's just no excuse for it. Bottom line.
Hell, I want to make my way out to Columbia to go watch a game. But at this point, that's a long trip and a lot of gas money these days to go watch a product like that. So, I don't know. Hopefully we'll turn it around. Hopefully we'll have a better second half of the season. And, otherwise, I think we all know what will likely be the outcome. So,
yeah. No, for sure. Hey, a lot of great points, man. Listen, I think you make a lot of great points. And bottom line is it's not acceptable. And, again, you can you can get by with some of the other sports on campus that I won't even name with just kind of, just floating around 500 or mediocrity, but not with Carolina baseball, not with this program. So a bad year for us in my mind should be we're not hosting a regional this year. Bottom line.
Right.
That should be a down year. So, we will never reach the point, for me at least, where missing the postseason's okay. It's never okay. Never okay.
Right. Completely agree. All right, man. Well, I'll let you there and let somebody else get on. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for the call. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I would say, I'll tell you this: I've never seen our fan base so fired up over a midweek game. But again, I love it. I love it. This is how it should be. This is how it should be when you lose. Really, this is how it should be. And when you're falling short of standard and expectation, it shouldn't just be, oh, well, it's okay. We're this, that, whatever. No, and when it comes to county baseball, it's not. It's not okay. It's not okay. You're falling short of the standard. You're falling short of expectations. And again, as I said earlier, you look at the whiteboard behind me and you look at the shirt I'm wearing, the Kiss the Ring shirt, just to give you all a reminder of who we are as a program. And I know that was a decade ago. I totally get it. But South Carolina baseball is South Carolina baseball. Great tradition, great players, greatness. Third most wins in college baseball since 2000. And this season still has a long way to go. But as I said last night on social media, I said on the podcast today, the thing that irked me most about last night, when you put that jersey on, you put the pinstripes on, you put the Yankee grays on, you're playing for all the guys that came before you and all those great players that took this team to unprecedented heights and took this program. And you got to represent them better than that. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Street.
Robbie, what's up, man?
What's up, my guy? How are you doing on this wonderful Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Well, I was calling because, of course, I call in every day, obviously. And I listened to the baseball game last night. It was horrible. It was bad. I listened to it from start to finish. Like I've told you before, I don't care if it's football, basketball. I'm gonna watch it no matter what happens because I am a diehard till God decided to put me in the ground. I'm gonna be a Gamecock fan. So, and in my opinion, if it was me, okay. If it was me, if I was Kingston, all right, this is what I would do. Because you obviously know that at the baseball stadium, behind the big green wall, is the 2 national titles, right?
Right.
I would literally. I don't care. I would take them. Look, you want to see the standard of South Carolina baseball? There's your standard, right there. That is the standard, and right now we're not playing to that standard. Yes, it's early in the season, but right now we are not playing to this standard. And the sad thing is, we got somebody on our coaching staff that won those 2 national titles, and I'm guaranteeing you, he's not happy right now because he has seen this program at its peak, and he's probably sick to his stomach right now. And to be honest, I wouldn't blame him if he was sick to his stomach right now. Because if I was an alumni that played on those 2 national championship teams, I'd be sick to my stomach. After what I saw this past weekend against Clemson and last night. Did I, say that did I pick us to win last night? Yes, I did. Okay. But you know what? We didn't win last night. The stars did not align, and we did not win. Do I still think we can take 2 out of 3 against Texas? Yes, I think we can. But the only problem is we're not playing to our standard. The players are not playing to the they're not playing to the standard that we expect to see. They're not. And I would tell them about, look, after showing them the trophies, I'm like, look, you know the standard. You came to South Carolina because you know the history. You know what this program has done before. And in order for us to be back in that situation, you got to be willing to take some on the chin sometimes. And we took one on the chin last night. And like I have preached to you before, it ain't about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you can get back up and how you respond to adversity. And right now, this baseball team is hitting adversity, and adversity is hitting them right back, right in the mouth. I don't know how they're going to respond because a lot of everybody's different. Everybody responds to adversity different. I'm really anxious to see how they respond to this adversity. But I think we'll be okay. I still believe that once we figure out what works and figure out how we can hit our stride, I think we'll be okay. Sorry for going on a tangent. I'm betting you probably.
No, hey, right now. Well said. I think we better be okay. Or Mark Kingston might be needing to hire a new real estate agent.
But I'm serious, and I was serious about the titles. Okay, like that is the standard that we have come to know and accept. Anything below that, that's a no. I think I'm pretty positive we've gotten to that point over the last decade that it's Omaha or bust.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Chad Holbrook got fired, and he missed the postseason 2 out of 3 years in a 3-year stretch in his last 3. I get it, but Chad Holbrook averaged over 40 wins per year. You know, so. I will never, like I said, I will never knock a Gamecock fan for holding the baseball program to the high standard that you are talking about. Because, again, I think it should be held to that standard. Again, nobody's saying you got to go to Omaha. Nobody's saying you got to go to Omaha every year.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being real.
Robbie, be as mean as you want.
I'm being real and I'm being honest.
I mean, again, I love Carolina baseball more than I like Mark Kingston or really anybody that could ever coach here. So – it ain't no hard feelings, but, yeah, the standards and the expectations, they are what they are. And if you don't meet them, we got to part ways. Sorry.
Right.
So.
That's like if I ever – because my dream is to be a basketball coach. But if I become a basketball coach and I don't live up to the standards that I set for myself and coach to the standards that I set for myself, I'm going to be like, it might be time for you to find somebody else. Because unless I can somehow try to somehow get to where I'm coaching to the standard that I want to coach at, start finding somebody else. That's with any sport, not just what I want to do. I'm just telling you from my perspective. If I was coaching in basketball or football or anything, if I'm not living up to your expectations, tell me, and I'll try my darndest to fix it. And if I can't fix it, then we'll part ways and I won't have no ill will because I didn't get the job done. That is why you would get fired. Because if you ain't getting the job done, you're going to get fired. And that's not just with coaching. That's with any job. If you don't do your job correctly, you're going to get fired. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the world we live in. You don't get the job done. Don't let the dough hit you with a good load split you, you know? And would I love to see this baseball team play better, even though, yes, we're early in the season? Yes, I would like to see them possibly. I really wish we would have beat Clemson, but you know what? That's it. That's over with. It's done. We got to get ready for Texas. Get focused on Texas, try our darndest to iron out the issues. And I think, like you said earlier, before I called, I agree with you 100% that the pitching is a major issue, and leaving runners on and starting to rear its ugly head again. And you don't, and you if you can't get runners in, and you don't have the pitching staff to win a midweek game against the team you should have beat, then we need to figure out a way to fix it and make sure that it stays fixed. And the coach that set the standard for the baseball team, his number is retired on the wall at the stadium. You know what I mean?
I hear you loud and clear,
He's
man.
the one that set the.
Yeah.
I'm not, and like I said, I have no ill will towards anybody whatsoever. I have no ill will towards no one. But I'm just being honest and being real. The standard is the standard at South Carolina. Getting to Omaha is the standard. If we by some miracle, God win a conference title in the process, I'd be happy. But the standard is Omaha, period.
Yeah, Omaha's not just something we stitch on our hats. It's a place we actually go and win. So I'd agree. I'd agree 110%, man. And I don't think South Carolina fans should ever lower the standard and the expectation for the program. I don't think that should ever happen. So,
and to brighten up your day, there is a very high possibility I will be at Tin Roof this evening.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. I hope to see you there.
So I will most likely be at Tin Roof this evening. So
I love to hear it.
I figured I would tell you that and brighten up your day a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I hope to see you there, my guy. That'd be incredible. Yeah, we're 6 to 8 tonight, so that would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I told my dad, I was like, 6 to 8. Well, I was like, well, depending, because like you said, they do the line dancing thing.
Yeah, shag lessons at 8:30. So
shag lessons at 8. So I was like, he's probably going to be going from probably. I was like, he might go from 6 to
like 7:45, 7:50.
7:45. Yeah. So, but I did also offer to buy my dad dinner, so that might have buttered him up a little bit. So, I
hope to see you.
That's my 10 cents, and like I said, I have no ill will towards Kingston or even I have no ill will towards Ray Tanner either. But I'm just telling you what I said. That is the standard of South Carolina baseball. That's the standard.
Yeah. Hey, never apologize for that. Never apologize. You know, if you don't like it, if you're somebody that doesn't like that, whether you're a coach, administrator, this ain't the spot for you. So yeah, I never apologize for it. I think what you said was very well said.
And like you said, just like you always say, be honest. Don't just be
keep it a buck. Be real.
Be honest.
Yeah.
And like I told you, my papa used to always tell me, if you can't do anything whenever it comes to life or your walk with Christ, just be real whenever it comes to stuff like that. And that's what I did with this. Like we're not playing to the standards that we're accustomed to seeing, that the fans are accustomed to seeing, and especially the students. And they're like, this is not what I'm used to. This is not what I'm used to seeing. This is not good. And we need to fix it.
Well said. Hey, I agree.
Do whatever you have to fix it. I don't care. But I will hopefully see you this evening. You have a great rest of your day. And it's raining a little bit over here where I'm at. So I don't know if it's raining in Columbia or not. But
yeah, we had a little drizzle. We've had a little drizzle this morning, so a little bit of a raining morning. But I think we're good now. I don't know. I think we're good.
All right, man. You have a great rest of your day, okay? And
yeah, man.
Gamecocks, talk on it.
For sure. Appreciate you, man.
All right, buddy.
Take care, Robbie.
Yep.
Good stuff. 843-790-3337. So, guys, great stuff from Robbie. No, listen, I know we love to banter with Robbie, and some of y'all like to, say whatever, but I thought that was extremely well said. I thought that was extremely well said regarding the standard of Carolina baseball. And again, that's why I put that here. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today, to remind you all what South Carolina baseball is. And last night was unacceptable. The last weekend was unacceptable. And this is not some sport where this is not one of the other sports on campus. And again, this is no disrespect, but it's not one of the sports on campus where it's like, oh, whatever. We'll give it time. We'll be patient, whatever. Nah, this is there is a standard to uphold. There is a standard to uphold, and it's got to get better, bottom line. So, guys, we'll continue to dive into that much more after our first break of the day, but I want to, like I said, continue to hear from you. 843-790-3377. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Want to continue to hear from you here on this Wednesday. And, of course, a lot of passion coming from you guys today, and I love that. You know, I was just talking during the break that, you know, I love the expectations. I love the passion behind Carolina baseball, and I love that there is a fierce irritation from South Carolina fans to be great. There is. And I wish that was the case in more sports. You know what I mean? I love that. I love that that's the case. I will never tell a Carolina baseball fan, a South Carolina fan, but a Carolina baseball fan to not bring that energy for sure. So, anyways, I do want to hear from you. And again, guys, like I told you, just not good enough. You know, we're early in the season. There's a lot of ways this season could go, but there needs to be like a come to Jesus talk like there was in 2018 after you lost to Presbyterian. Because let's not get it twisted, right? Those 10, 11, 12 teams, hey, even 13, 14, 16, they didn't win every single game. The Ray Tanner teams, they didn't win every single game. But losing to Xavier 15-7 on your home field, it can't happen, man. It just can't happen. After getting swept by your rival, can't happen. It can't happen. And I don't know, again, if the standard got lost somewhere or if there's just some guys out there that are just happy to be putting on a jersey at a D1 SEC school, whatever. But, again, the standards and expectations here aren't what they are. They should be. They should never be lowered. So while I'm not going to sit here after the 12th game of the season and say fire Mark Kingston and be kicking and screaming for Mark Kingston's job, the expectations are what the expectations are, as I told you all before the season started. You know, they are what they are. Competitive pressure. It should be a thing here. That means you care. That means it's important. South Carolina baseball should never look the way it looked last night. That should never happen. So, it's not good enough. But I mean, that's just stating the obvious. Keith, the TDC Questions channel, asked earlier, how much longer do we give Kingston? His teams haven't gotten better. And I'll tell you this, Keith. I guess I really haven't spoken on this. If, because there's a lot of baseball left, if this season continues to go the way it's going, and if you have a season, let's just say similar to 2019, where you went 8-22 in SEC play, I think you won like one total SEC series, and of course you missed the postseason. If you have a year like that, I think it's time to evaluate. I really do. I think it's time to evaluate. And I'd go as far as to say that at that point, if I had to pick one to let go, either Martin or Kingston, I'd probably go Kingston, because basketball's never won anything, really. There aren't high standards and expectations for men's basketball. I mean, I want there to be, but Martin's done things that haven't really been done here before. Kingston is not doing that. That's putting it lightly. Keith also asked, do you think the job is overwhelming since we have such high expectations? Keith, if that's how you view it, man, if Mark Kingston views it as overwhelming, then he shouldn't be here in the first place. I mean, there's other SEC schools with pressure too, man. Think about the coach that takes over after Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt. Think about the coach that takes over after Kevin O'Sullivan. Think about Kevin O'Sullivan right now. Think about the head coaching jobs at Mississippi State and Arkansas and LSU, right? Think about those jobs. I mean, there's pressure, man. There is competitive pressure. And there should be. There should be. So, and I hate to sound like one of the, back in my day type folks or whatever. Because, hey, let's live in the present moment, right? This isn't 2010, 11, 12 anymore. This is 2022. What's happening is happening. But, again, it just, you didn't see results. We used to have guys look at the midweek as, man, this is a time to boost your stats. This is a time to beat up on somebody else when you're not in SEC play or you're not playing one of your tougher non-conference series. The midweek was the time to get hot and get rolling. Whether you were swinging the stick or you were on the bump, it's a time to feel good about yourself. And not only did you not do that, but you got blasted last night. Got blasted. Michael Mackey with a hell of a take right here. He said, if Mark Kingston had any grasp on how disappointing this team is, they would only wear midweek uniforms for the rest of the season. This team doesn't deserve to wear the garnet pinstripes or the Yankee grays. And I think that might – I get what you're saying, Mike. I do. And, again, I appreciate you actually reminding me of this because I said this on the podcast that dropped this morning. Go check it out if you haven't, episode 614. Dropped on the podcast, and I said this. What irks me the most is, again, we do have great tradition and great history here. And seeing guys out on the field, seeing guys wearing 29, 5, 19, 12, 27, 4, 10, and putting together the kind of performances that we are seeing. I mean, I'm talking all-time greats. Y'all know who I'm talking about without me even saying them by name. 13. I mean, I could just keep going down the list. And so when you put that uniform on, I don't care if it's a midweek, the pinstripes, the Yankee grays, that's who you're representing. You're playing for all those teams that came before you, right? And all the guys, you're setting the standard for everybody who's going to come after you as well. And so, again, I don't want to continue to harp on it, but there is nothing funny about losing to Xavier 15-7 in a midweek game. Hey, listen, sometimes you have bad nights. Sometimes you get beat, but losing shouldn't be funny. Where South Carolina baseball is right now, nothing's funny after you get swept by your rival for the first time since 1997. Nothing about that is funny. Nothing about where we are right now is funny. Nothing. So think about who you're representing. When you're wearing 29, 13, 10, 19, 5, the greatest Gamecocks who ever put it on. It's unacceptable what happened last night. And there are no excuses. You win anyway. I don't want to hear it. You know what? You go into Texas. I don't care who's hurt. There's not going to be a built-in excuse this season if, our guys were hurt.
Call from
Who gives a damn?
To accept.
John, what's going on, man? How are you?
It could be better.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I was going over this, like, after we lost that game yesterday. I guess you could say maybe took some time to cool off, there's nothing really to cool off from. But I was trying to think about how I'm going to see this on my own Facebook, so I just wanted to read what I said this morning after I got my thoughts together. I said, I will continue to follow and root for this baseball team this season. I can take losing, but hey, you're going to lose games to smaller schools because it's baseball, but dang, you should not be losing, like, for example, yesterday, took 7. We know what expectations are, but cutting up and giggling and laughing when you're losing on your home field bad is not good enough. And somebody on this team has to step up and real quick. Weekend series versus the Longhorns, I'll be there. Figure it out.
Well put.
And that's what everybody. That's what I mean. And then I put it on my Facebook this morning, and then I was checking it before I'm taking my break right now. One of my friends on Facebook commented and said, for some reason, I don't know how true this is. He says, we have 8 pitchers out right now with an injury. You're going to have to get used to it. I don't think we have that many out. I know we have Bosnick out and Hicks is done, but that's 2, not 8. Unless I'm missing somebody else that's not playing because of an injury on the pitching front.
Yeah, I'm trying to think also. I mean, I guess Brett Thomas would be out. I don't know who else, to be honest with you.
I mean, you can't count Mahoney and Phipps because they were out before the season started anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, other than Brett Thomas, I forgot about him. No offense to him, but it's just like.
Yeah, and listen, there's no excuses, man. There's no excuses. You should have enough at Carolina to reload. You should have enough to win anyway. Bottom line in a discussion. So I said that going into the Clemson weekend. I'll say that going into Texas and the entire season. So I don't want to hear it. You know, football can talk about injuries. Yeah. Basketball can talk about injuries. We don't do that with baseball. We don't do that. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to give Kingston a pass because we got injuries. Like, well, then go recruit some more guys that throw 95. Man, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
recruit more pitching for crying out loud. I mean, I feel like that's the one thing he's liked doing since he got here. Maybe the first year he came because he had Holbrook's guys, I think.
Yeah.
And you play. I think that year we played Oklahoma State in the Super Regional and we lost to Columbia, and I think it was that year. And then had another year, and then was it his third year Majinski got hurt, or was that his second year?
No, that was his second year. Yeah, 2019. When Carmen broke his foot in the Clemson series, yeah.
And went downhill after that. And I didn't want to, it was hard for me to compare, but it kind of crept into my mind last night. I'm like, is this hope? I want it to be a similar season, but is it like you lose somebody early in the season around the same time frame? You lose Majinski, the Clemson series, and you lose Hicks the series before. Clemson's around the same time frame. And yeah, I don't like I said, I'll be there Friday. Hopefully the weather's looking better because I actually checked. I probably should check Columbia for Friday more than why I live Rock Hill area, but if the Rock Hill area tells me anything about weather this weekend, they said Rock Hill weather is not supposed to start raining until 9. So I'm going to check later for Columbia on Friday and see what it's looking like. But hopefully that's a good sign that hopefully it doesn't rain until after the game.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated.
It can rain Friday.
Yeah, we'll keep you as updated as we can.
Friday. Yeah, I'm going to keep up with it too. It can rain Friday for all I care, just not during the game.
Yeah.
So, because, I've been looking, it's just, I'll show up and root for the team regardless, and just you have the whole thing about it's baseball and you can lose to somebody in the midweek, but I guess I would have it makes sense if we had lost maybe by 1 or 2 runs. That I'm gonna say I don't know if that would have been easier to comprehend, but you lose by 8 yesterday and you're down 9-4, whatever it was after 4 innings or whatever it was. I don't know if that would have made it better. But you can't do that last night.
Yeah, it was that was embarrassing. You got crushed. You got crushed.
And I you were talking to, it wasn't Robbie. It was Brian or somebody. I heard you say you left during the 8th inning. Which I also can't blame her for leaving.
Yeah. No, I
just went. Yeah. So, does Carolina men play with a third game tomorrow?
Well, yeah, we play at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Man, dang, full day basketball tomorrow for me because Duke is actually playing at noon tomorrow. What the heck?
Gotcha.
And the Carolina plays at 6, and I'm actually I'm still at work. I get off at 3:30. I'm actually have alert set for Florida State and Syracuse the entire season. and I just got an alert for the second half just started for the AC tournament. Syracuse is up like 23 on Florida State. So kind of keep tabs on that because that's who Duke plays tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I don't blame anybody. I don't think it's in basketball, or I guess what you could say, we have expectations for the baseball team. The expectations of Duke basketball to win this tournament and next week when it starts.
Right.
Just similar in a way. All right, I just wanted to say what's on my Facebook and plan on being there further.
I appreciate it, John. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Take care. Good stuff. Good stuff. 843-790-3337. Some guys, it's 843-790-3377. Again, I think the overriding theme of today, which is, stating the obvious, but what happened last night is not acceptable. What's happened really over the last week isn't acceptable. But I will reiterate, season's not over. Season is not over. Season is not over. 12 games, but it's got to flip quick. It's got to flip quick. Justin Martin, I'm not happy with South Carolina baseball either. I don't like where South Carolina baseball is headed. And, listen, I know I know that a lot of you, practically all of you, give Ray Tanner hell. And you know what? I don't think Ray Tanner's a great AD, guys. I just find it hard to believe, though, that Ray Tanner isn't going to do what is necessary to get South Carolina baseball back to where it rightfully belongs. Because it's his baby. He built it. He built it. I mean, do we really believe the guy would sabotage his own program? Again, I know it's popular to hate Ray Tanner. I get it. I don't think he's a great AD either. And I think there's been decisions he's made that support that. But I got to believe he's not happy with it either. I got to believe Ray Tanner's not pleased with what he's seeing either. And I got to believe that if in year 5 it doesn't get better, they're going to have a long, hard look in the mirror at what needs to go down. Because, again, this is Carolina baseball. This is his baby that he built. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just would be hard-pressed to believe that. And, again, guys, if you think for a second that there aren't guys from those 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever teams, there aren't alumni that aren't chiming in his ear and saying, giving their piece on it, you got another thing coming. I can assure you, I can promise you they are. I can promise you they are. Because if you think you're fired up, you're pissed off, you're upset, those guys, those players who built the program, those players who set the standard and expectation, they're more upset than you are. I can assure you that. I know for a fact. Firsthand, I know for a fact. They are. They are. So, I mean, when you've got former Gamecocks that were on the national title teams that contributed, some of the greatest Gamecocks of all time, when you've got them liking the video that I put out last night in my post game, you know something is up. You know that something is up. And I'm just, man, I tell you what, switching gears a little bit, I am so tired of having to bitch about Gamecocks men's sports. Man, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I mean, thank God Beamer has brought some excitement and, I don't know, stability, the right word, excitement to the football program. But man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It just, Gamecock athletics just lives to drive us insane. It just lives to drive us crazy. And Travis Allen says, Chris, are we doing something wrong as far as burning these guys' arms up? Seems like we've had too many guys having TJ over the last 4 to 5 years. Tommy John surgery. I don't know. I mean, I will say I heard some things about Skylar Meade from people. I didn't think Skylar was a terrible pitching coach. But I heard some things, man. How much do you put it on coaching staff? How much do you put it on just dumb luck? I don't look at James Hicks ripping his arm in half and say, oh, that was a coaching move. Like that just, I mean, what are you supposed to do? I don't think Julian Bosnick and his arm issue was a coaching thing. Bosnick was obviously in fine shape last year. So either way, 843-790-3377, guys. It's 843-790-3377. Cocky Twan, what was so funny last night? Yeah, I mean, again, that did irk me at the end of the game. Listen, I'll tell you this. To follow up on it, in case you missed it, right? Position player, Jalen Vasquez comes in, and bases are loaded, nobody out. He gets out of the jam. And I'll hold that for a second. We'll jump on the phone. We got a call.
Call from
Drew Johnson.
Drew, what's up, man? How are you?
There he is. What's up, brother? I'm doing all right. Last night sucked, obviously. But
Right. Yeah, for sure. What's going on? Appreciate you calling in.
absolutely, man. No, I just wanted to be quick with this. I hope this doesn't piss anybody off in the fan base or anything. But I'll be honest with you. I don't really. I watch the baseball games, but I'm not as involved in baseball as I am as football and the basketball team. But anyway, so I'm a diehard Braves fan, and I went to the NLCS game 2 in Atlanta against the Dodgers and everything. Coming the first half of the season, everybody's kind of like, okay, well, what's going on? This isn't good. And I guess we can kind of say that with our baseball team right now. But I'll be honest with you, just looking at it from me and my perspective, I really don't think we're good. Like, I really don't. I mean, it sucks to say that, but I mean, if you go look at the crap that happened yesterday, that Xavier lost to Northern Kentucky 16-6 already this year, and Northern Kentucky's 4-7. And for that crap to happen on our home field, obviously, but I just don't think we have that good of a team. I really don't. That's what I got to say.
Hey, it's a fair take at this point. I mean, outside of
and I don't know if it's recruiting, the coach. I don't know where to start. Start from up top. I don't know if it's the recruiting. If we aren't bringing the guys, but if you watch, the Clemson series, it's just like it's almost like. And looks aren't everything, obviously, and swagger and all that stuff. But it's just like looking at the Clemson team. They just look better than us. It was weird.
And that's why they swept you. Bottom line.
I don't know. Yeah, so that's really what I got to say. And also, we gave Frank Martin hell, but now Mark Kingston's taking that spot.
Right.
So. Anyways, I don't know, man. It sucks, but I don't know. I don't think we have that good of a squad, and we should. It doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
Facilities, like y'all were talking about earlier on the show, the tradition. You'd think everybody we had out there would be studs, and I don't know if they are, and they're just not producing or what's going on, but. It's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, what's your take on all that?
Yeah, I think right now we're not a great team. I think right now we're not a great ball club. Outside of Will Sanders, Michael Braswell, and probably Andrew Eister, everything else is pretty much up in the air. Our transfer guys we brought in aren't exactly tearing it up. Our freshmen
we're getting
are okay. They're okay, but I mean, the biggest area I see again is just the bullpen, the lack of arms. I mean, we're depending on guys that didn't do a whole lot in their careers up to this point, and why should we have expected anything different going into this season? So, the arms just aren't there, man. I just bottom line. I mean, I know the bats haven't been like red hot either or anything, but for me, over the long haul, I think it's going to be the arms that'll be our undoing. If things are going to keep going the direction they're going and they're not going to turn around, I think it's just going to be the lack of arms. So,
yeah. I mean, we're getting. I don't know what it is now, but it was 211 from the leadoff spot starting yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So. Anyway.
Yeah. So now I think you make valid points, man. I mean, until this team proves otherwise, they're not a very good ball club. Until you prove otherwise. I mean,
I know you were there yesterday, and it's a weird start for a game. Midday game basically during the week. But I mean, it didn't look like anybody was there.
No, I mean, well, I didn't expect anybody to be there for a 3:00 first pitch on Tuesday after you get swept by your rival. But that's no excuse not to show up and play great baseball. Your job is to show up and play baseball. And yeah, just not good enough across the board. Just bad all the way around.
And I heard some guy calling earlier about driving. He doesn't really know if he wants to drive and everything now because of what's going on and the gas. And there's no point really in him coming until he sees something better on the field. But I mean, that's the thing too. Now they're going to have to, tie back the fan base basically, if you know what I mean. Like prove the fans that they can play before the crowds start coming back or whatever. So yeah, it's a mess. For sure.
No, it is. It is. And you got to figure it out fast because, I mean, Texas ain't going to have any sympathy for you, I can assure you.
Yeah, that's it. And so we're just going to, over here my way, we're just getting ready for spring football. That's all we're hoping for right now. So,
yeah, less than a week.
And to run in the SEC tourney. Like Calipari said, all 99 SEC teams should have some say in the NCAA tournament, but we always get screwed. So, anyways. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. Great stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Take care. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Great perspective. I sincerely, guys, I appreciate your calls. I love hearing from you. The passion, it's evident, and I love that. So keep them coming. 843-790-3377. Guys, again, we're going to jump into a quick break here. But, again, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. On the other side, you're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I want to continue to hear from you. Let's see. Travis Lee says, want to know who's happy about baseball struggling. Frank Martin, nobody's talking about him being fired anymore. Yeah, no, it's one thing to struggle in basketball when you've never historically been all that great, but it's another thing to struggle in baseball when it's, again, your crown jewel and you've got the expectations you have for a reason. So John Wilson, Kingston can't install the chemistry into the mindset of the team. Look at what Beamer has done with the football team. He has them believing in each other. Maybe he needs to teach Kingston how to relate to the players and get all out. No quitting, play out of the team. What's your feedback? To get respect, you got to give it. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know. I'm not behind closed doors. But, if some message is not being relayed to the player, something's got to give. Something's got to change. Something's got to change, bottom line. So, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the messaging is. I don't know. Let's see. Also, guys, in case you missed it, the SEC tournament starting today, actually, in men's basketball. Gamecocks will play tomorrow at 6 o'clock against Mississippi State. Podcast dropped this morning, episode 614, full breakdown of episode 614, full breakdown of the baseball game last night. And then, of course, tomorrow's show, we will talk the baseball series against Texas as well as a full preview of that SEC tournament game as well. So, again, guys, want to hear from you, 843-790-3377. We have covered it. We have beat it in today like none other about the standard and expectations and what should be expected here and why last night wasn't acceptable. So we can continue to talk about that if you want. We don't have to, but we all know, losing to Xavier 15-7 on your home field, it can't be tolerated. So it can't be tolerated. Bottom line, it can't be tolerated. So, yeah. John R. Wilson, Frank went on a few games of winning when the team was stinking. Do you think Kingston can get 2 of 3 from Texas? It's going to be really tough, man. I mean, the only way I see it happening, Will Sanders has got to spin a gym on Friday night and probably bring in Michael Braswell to relieve to get the job done. And then Saturday or Sunday, you got to find a way to swing it well enough and get a performance out of somebody on the bump. That's the only way I see. Cade got game early record prediction for the football team. Talking football. My way too early record prediction back in January was 8-4. So that's subject to change.
Rebecca.
Here, let's jump to the phone lines. Rebecca, what's going on? How are you?
Doing good. Doing pretty good. I hate that South Carolina lost last night.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun game, Rebecca. Wasn't a fun game at all.
So we're supposed to play Texas.
Yeah, we play Texas Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep.
Okay. Well, my friend's wanting to back out on me about coming up to Knoxville.
Okay.
And I don't care to come up there by myself, but I don't care to. Could you get some seats with you and me sitting together?
I'd have to let you know. I mean, again, I haven't even started to look at the 10. I guess, we should start to look ahead. But I'll let you know in the next couple of days. I'm not 110% sure my plans yet for next weekend.
Okay, because I was wanting to know about that,
Yeah.
I don't know why they backed out. They said they didn't have the money. But still, they can still come and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway. I've seen a comment on somebody was talking about Tennessee earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously we play them next weekend, so.
Well, you might as well make a clip on this. What I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
All the Tennessee Balls fans can kiss my ass. And I don't give a damn about them.
Yeah, Gamecock fans hate Tennessee. Truly. And I mean, truly. So I don't disagree with you.
I don't give a damn about Tennessee. I mean, seriously, I hate living up here,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. But I have no choice. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. Tennessee Balls can go to hell for all I care. And go to hell. I don't give a damn about them. I don't give two shits about them. They can kiss my ass.
And all the people said, amen. Amen.
Well, I don't have nothing against Texas that I know of. I mean, that's just another team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. I mean, that's how I feel. I just wanted to say that about Tennessee Balls for next weekend.
I love to hear it. Hey, I love to hear it.
And I want to make a request on something. I don't need people be tagging me in the videos on Facebook because it would get back on my Facebook page on them clips. If everybody quit refrain from doing that, because like I said, I got my pastor and his wife on there. They're big Tennessee Ball fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I I don't need that getting back on there or anybody tagging me on it. You don't mind having that?
I don't mind at all.
All right, I appreciate it. Where in Tennessee are you from? I'm in East Tennessee. Not too far from Knoxville or Chattanooga. Somebody asked me that. But anyway, I hope I get to meet you next weekend.
Yeah, we'll figure out the plans, Rebecca. We'll be in touch, and we'll get it squared away.
All right, I will. And go Gamecocks.
Go Gamecocks. Rebecca, always well said. I appreciate you.
All right.
Take care. Great stuff. Great stuff as always. It's a pleasure to hear from Rebecca always. Again, want to hear from the rest of you. 843-790-3377. Let's see. So what I guess the women's selection show is Sunday. Women's selection show is Sunday. So we'll figure out where the Gamecocks are going, who they're playing, all that good stuff on Sunday. We'll figure all that out Sunday. So Beg Gaunt's enjoying the beach. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Enjoying the beach. Love to hear that. John Wilson says Tennessee and Clemson have a lot in common, but not many teeth. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, like I said, guys, tomorrow's podcast, we'll get you geared up for a big series against Texas, as well as tomorrow's basketball game against Mississippi State. Yeah, so. Yeah, Beg, we're just not good right now. We're not good right now, and it's not good enough. Something's got to be figured out for sure. Something's got to be figured out. Something's got to be figured out. Let's see. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Like I said, check out the podcast. I dropped this morning, episode 614. Breaking down everything that happened last night. My full thoughts on the loss to Xavier. What needs to change, what needs to happen. Of course, guys, like I said, we're prepping for a big show tomorrow with the Texas series preview and breakdown of the Mississippi State game. The SEC tournament getting going today. Gamecocks will play tomorrow. So, looking forward to that. And, yeah, so I tell you, we need something positive to happen for Gamecocks athletics, don't we? We could use a W tomorrow with, yeah. Cade got games just trying to get my mind off the baseball game, going into a football world. I think if we can go into Arkansas and pull it off there, it'll be a very live crowd for Georgia at home. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, it definitely will. It will be a fantastic crowd for Georgia at home. A fantastic crowd. So that's a big if. You know, you got to go into a hostile environment. Arkansas is going to be a good team. Sam Pittman's done a really, really good job building their program. So, you know, I'll be looking forward to that. I think that's one of the better early season matchups in the SEC. I really do. I think that's one of the better early season matchups in the SEC. So, we'll see what it looks like. But again, we got a long way to go till football season. Long way to go. Long way to go. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. We are going to take one final break here before we dive into the last 15 minutes or so on the show. But I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 15 minutes or so here on this Wednesday, March the 9th, 2022. I want to continue to hear from you, your questions, your comments, and your calls as well. Obviously been a very fired up, spirited Daily Crow, which I expected. Travis Wells says, on a positive, maybe this weekend we'll fire our asses back up. I hope so. Keith, the TDC Questions channel, says, my prediction was 3-9 over the next 22. I think he meant 12. But we lost one of the three, and it'll be really hard to get up next Tuesday if that happens. Who do we even have next Tuesday? Who's next Tuesday? Hold on. Who is next Tuesday for us? Let's see. Gardner Webb. 7 o'clock first pitch. Love that. Gardner Webb. So, anyways, you got to worry about this weekend first. You got to worry about this weekend first for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, man. Daunting task. Texas has like a 1.5 ERA. They're hitting 290 as a team. You know, it's going to be very, very tough. Very, very tough. So, very tough. Again, guys, in case you missed it, SEC tournament starting today. Gamecocks will play tomorrow at 6 o'clock against Mississippi State. Also, guys, we're live tonight at Tin Roof, 6 to 8, by the way. We'll be out there taking your questions, comments, everything else, hanging out, talking Gamecocks, talking whatever, just talking shop. We'll also stream it live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So we'd love to have you guys come out to that. Also, for the weekend, I know many of you had asked about a tailgate. I think because of the weather, and also because South Carolina is throwing its own block party on Saturday. And again, I think that's weather pending. But because of all those things, I highly doubt we will have a Rowdy Rooster tailgate this weekend. Just stay tuned. I mean, things could change, but I highly doubt that will happen. So, anyways, but looking forward to the weekend. Either way, you know, I was thinking about this earlier. Is just, you know, I don't know how the weekend's going to go. I mean, I think most expect it to be a really rough weekend, but I'm not going to lie to you. The baseball fan inside of me is just really excited to see Texas play. See what Texas looks like on the field. They might be the eventual national champion. So, you know, and excited to see, I guess, how we stack up. I don't know. Do we even put up a fight? You know, what does it look like at Founders Park this weekend? Who knows? Let's see. Rebecca says it's going to be snowing here Friday night and Saturday. Very nice. Yeah, it's going to be a rainy weekend here. Travi says, maybe this is something we need. We got punched in the mouth 4 games in a row now. Let's go. I hear you, Travi. But my response also would be like, if you couldn't get up after getting your punch in the face against your arch rival for 3 straight games, I don't know how a loss to Xavier is going to help you, you know what I mean, or motivate you to get right and get going. You know what I mean? I don't know how that's going to be the case. I mean, I hope you're right. But I don't know how that's going to be the case. So. Anyways, guys, like I said, been a very spirited conversation today. And I think a lot of you, many of you, all of you really, have made great points in regards to the standards around Gamecocks baseball and what should be accepted and what shouldn't. And certainly last night, that type of result should never, ever be accepted or tolerated at the University of South Carolina. It never should. It never should. So, but again, when you're facing adversity, you got to battle. You got to fight. You got to win anyway. You know, you can't be laughing and cutting up and carrying on in the midst of a game like that. You got to take it head on and believe in yourself. And again, battle your guts out. That's all I want to see this weekend. I didn't totally disagree with what Mark Kingston said after last night. That character will be revealed. Character will be revealed. What is the character of this ball club? What is the character of it? Do some of these veteran guys start to step up and become much needed leaders for us? You know, because you got to have them. You got to have them. Bottom line, you got to have them. Who's it going to be? Again, I look at guys like Andrew Eister, Braylon Wimmer, Brant Belt, Kevin Madden, Josiah Seitler, Colin Burgess. On the bump, I look at guys like John Gilreath, Wesley Sweat, Parker Coyne. You know, guys who have been around the block a time or two. Like, somebody's got to step up, man. Somebody's got to step up. Heck, even if it's got to be Will Sanders, you know, a younger guy, but one of your leaders. And I know Eister's a lead by example kind of guy, but maybe you got to get a little bit vocal. Maybe you got to get vocal. Doug Moss seems to be poor recruiting the last 2 years. What happened? You know, Doug, I don't know if it's poor recruiting or if, you know, they've had losses and injuries they didn't expect. But either way, that's no excuse. There's no excuse when it comes to Carolina baseball. There's absolutely no excuse. You fight, you battle, you win anyway. You fight, you battle, you win anyway. And, you know, just no excuse. So I will say, though, you don't see the amount of studs out there. You don't see the amount of studs out there that I would prefer to see. You know, you don't have a bunch of 95 guys in the bullpen right now, and that's concerning. I mean, again, that's really concerning for me. That is really, really concerning for me. And I think that's where, you know, if this season goes sideways, I think that'll be sort of the story of it. So, Scott Clever, am I upset? I mean, you know, I'm just disappointed with the game last night. So, I'm disappointed with the game last night. I mean, how could you not be? Wasn't very fun. Wasn't a very fun one last night, Scott. So, you got to figure out a way to rebound, bottom line. Anyways, guys, about 5 minutes to go here in the Daily Crow, Wednesday, March the 9th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much again for the continued love and support all week long. We're gonna be live all week with the podcast, the Daily Crow, the content. You already know the drill. Live tonight at Tin Roof. And, of course, we'll be covering the basketball game tomorrow night out at Founders Park all weekend. So a very, very busy next couple of days. But excited, man, excited. Excited for it for sure. And just hope that some positivity is going to return to Gamecock athletics here in the next couple of days, because it's been rough. It has been very, very rough, folks. It has been rough. The past weekend with the Clemson series, and you lose the midweek, and you lose in men's basketball, and you lose in women's basketball, and we just need a W somewhere from somebody. So hopefully men's basketball can, find a way to get a W tomorrow night. I'll tell you what, I'll be really interested to see, too, in the SEC tournament, though, just about, and it might just sound obvious, but teams played so much better at home this year, I feel like, than they did on the road. Many teams. I mean, you look at the South Carolina Mississippi State matchup specifically. The Gamecocks lost to State by, 20 points on their home floor. Then you play them at CLA about a month or two later, and you beat them by 10. So, and I think being on the home floor did make a difference in those games. So, how does each team fare in a neutral site? What does Vegas think of the game? I have to think Vegas – I think Vegas is probably going to favor State. If I had to guess, I think they're going to favor State, but it's a very, very, very winnable game for South Carolina tomorrow night. Very winnable game. Very winnable game. So, looking forward to it. Again, anytime you get into tournament play, things get really, really fun. Again, I think there'll be games all day tomorrow. The games, I believe, start tonight at 6 o'clock, and then 25 minutes after that, game one is done. So, yeah, it should be a very fun next few days, and maybe South Carolina can make a run. Maybe they can. Who knows? Maybe they can make a run. So, yeah, maybe they can make a run. Again, guys, check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 614. Would love to see you guys out at Tin Roof tonight. Take your questions and hang out with you guys and shake hands and just, talk Gamecocks, whatever you want to do. But, looking forward to a fun rest of the week, like I said. Podcast tomorrow will be a full breakdown of the Texas series and the basketball game, of course. Yeah, I saw that Carson Wentz got traded to Washington, yeah. Carson Wentz traded. That Russell Wilson trade was wild. That Russell Wilson trade was very wild. So, some big moves happening over the past couple of days in the NFL. Some really, really big moves happening. So, let's see. Wow, Syracuse beat Florida State in the ACC tournament by 39 points. Good Lord. So much for Florida State having a good year. I mean, I think they had a solid year, but, man, they got crushed. Got crushed in the ACC tournament. So, guys, we're about to hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in, like I said. Check out the podcast that dropped this morning. And, again, Tin Roof tonight, $3 drafts, $3 Rumple, $3 Fireball. Great food, great people, great times. You already know the drill. Always a blast at Tin Roof. Again, appreciate those fine folks for having us out. And then, again, a really fun rest of the week. We're going to have content flowing, content bleeding out the eyeballs, obviously, and bringing the best Gamecocks coverage on the internet to you guys. Also, stay tuned for new merch drops as well. Got some things we're working on behind the scenes that I cannot wait for you guys to see. And, we'll keep on keeping on. We'll keep trucking. We'll keep fighting and just see where it takes us. Guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for all the content. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you later tonight from Tin Roof.